All right, Scoobies, it's that time of week again where we count down our 4 favorite moments from the latest episode of Game of Thrones in Scooby Foursome.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Alex, 4, 2, 1. What were your favorite moments from Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 4, The Spoils of War?
Number 4 was when Arya and Brand reunited at the tree. What I loved about that moment was that comment that Brand said to her. Like, you could see that they were like, Arya was starting to notice that he was different. And then he brought up, they asked, like, you know, why she was going to see Cersei. Sansa said that. And Brand goes, she's on her list of people to kill.
Yeah.
And I loved that moment because you could kind of see, like, the light in Sansa's eyes, like, what? Like, it went off, like, oh, sorry, I can't snap. That was really bad. Let me use this hand. Okay.
You've told me that many times. She says I can't snap.
Can't snap or whistle, but I still try. So she was like, oh, Arya was serious. Like, she's really out there killing
Because they had that moment in their parents' grave where Arya says, I have a list of people to kill.
Yeah,
and Sansa's basically like,
that's cute. So, yeah, I really loved that moment. And then also Arya, like, I didn't think Arya, when she saw Bran, seemed as, like, upset. Like, Sansa was more taken aback. Arya was just kind of, like, I think because she's had this, like, change, this very, like, significant, like, magical change.
Yeah, like she's been training.
Right,
yeah.
she's, like, not as shocked to see Bran, like, in this state.
Yeah, whereas Sansa, I think you're right, she was still expecting to see her little brother, but I feel like Arya, to a certain extent, is a sociopath herself, so she probably, Bran, who's demonstrating sociopathic tendencies, like no emotion, is probably like, yeah, I get it. Very cool, very cool. My number 4, we're going to be bouncing back and forth. I have Jon running into Theon after the Ironborn ships come back to Dany, and he said, the only reason why I didn't kill you is because of what you did for Sansa. Now, if you remember a few seasons ago, Theon, where he sort of basically stabbed the Starks in the back during the Battle of the Five Kings, he made Jon and pretty much all of the North believe that he burnt the last 2 Stark boys. He didn't. But Jon does know that he burnt 2 random farm boys who did nothing wrong, and that he stabbed his family in the back, the family that raised him. So these guys grew up like brothers. So I understand the fact that he's like, I should kill you, but you saved my sister from torture and rape, so I get it.
Yeah, that was a really powerful moment for me, because when you saw Theon, like, coming up on the bank, like, he had no idea that Jon was going to be there.
No, the last person, the family you betrayed that you think you'd never see again.
Yeah, like, it was just total shock, and he just says, Jon? That was all he said. And I didn't know what Jon was going to do.
I half expected Jon to kill him.
Yeah, for a minute, I thought he was just going to go up and, like, snap his neck or something.
At least, like, kick the crap out. I thought he was going to do something, but Jon was like, debt's paid. He's like, you helped out my family. After screwing us over, we'll let it slide for now.
Very Jon Snow.
Very Jon Snow. Those Stark boys always get themselves killed for being too nice. All right, what was your number 3?
My number 3 was Dany's arrogance during the battle.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, it's like a very specific moment. I loved when she came in on her dragon. We got to see him fighting for the first time. Like, I thought that was really exciting.
So cool.
But, like, the moment that really got me during the scene was whenever they were taking out that arrow. Do you know the arrow of death? The scorpion.
I think they called it the scorpion.
Or the arrow.
Which is an awesome name for either a weapon of mass destruction or a pro wrestler. Scorpion. Okay.
Yeah, so they were taking out the scorpion, and, like, at first, Daenerys was kind of flying back away from it. I was like, yes, fly away, stay away, don't turn around.
You thought she was going to make the smart choice.
Yes, and then she just, like, turned back around, and I was like, what are you doing?
She just, like, dropped it right on the table. She's like, that's what I'm dealing with today. Look at all of that.
Exactly what she did. It was literally like that. So... She looks down, and, like, you see her just, like, in her eyes, like, glaring, like, I'm coming for you. I'm like, you're flying straight towards the arrow. What are you doing? So that part, like, it was just
Especially, it wasn't like it's the first arrow Bronn shot where, like, maybe she's like, oh, I don't know that it's a giant arrow.
She knew.
One went by her.
Exactly.
And she had that face like, oh, shit, that almost hit me. And then she went back in for more.
So that's what I was just kind of like, okay, now we're really seeing Daenerys' arrogance and, like, just kind of her... recklessness in battle. So I thought that was a really, like, interesting part.
Might bite her in the butt. We'll see. We only got a few episodes left. For my number 3, mine was Bran and Mira saying goodbye. I guess Mira said goodbye more than Bran did, but it was like, I mean, look at it from her point of view. She's like, I'm going back home, and he's like, all right, bye, pretty much.
Oh, that part broke my heart. I'm like, at least fake a little emotion, Bran.
I got a little emotional when I saw that, just because I was thinking about, it's one of those situations where, you help somebody, like, times a million, but if you help somebody move, you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, you go over to Pasadena to help your buddy move his furniture, you spend all day, 6 hours helping this guy move pianos and back-breaking refrigerators. At the end of the day, he's like, all right, I'll see you later. I'd be like, you dick. Times that by like months, someone saving your life, saving you from zombies and demons and White Walkers.
And carrying your ass around because you can't even walk.
I forgot about the crippledness and having to be carried everywhere. And after literally keeping you alive, like she said, my brother died for you. Hodor, how sad were we all about Hodor?
Oh my gosh, don't remind me of that scene.
We felt more about Hodor's death than Bran did. And again, he's just like, all right, deuces.
I mean, the thing is, like, he's seen so much death now that it's just like nothing. How are you gonna have emotions?
And with the three-eyed ravenness, he's too.
Well, that's what I mean. Like his three-eyed raven. Like he's.
Oh, you mean the trauma of
like
war?
He's seen like death, like from the beginning of time.
I know you're right. He's seen everything.
Yes.
Yeah, like Arya and Sansa have seen some stuff. He's seen some stuff. Yeah, and that's why, much like Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, or any sort of character that gets a sort of heightened consciousness, Spock for you Star Trek nerds, he almost has this sort of emotionless, I'm dead inside thing to him now. All right, what do you got?
Okay, so my number 2 was when Daenerys and Jon Snow were in the cave together. Because he was showing her like where they'd been mining the dragon glass, and I did not expect that scene to happen. Like I remember last week I was talking about how I wanted some more sexual attention. When was this magical?
I had to eat crow on that because last week I was like, I don't think the producers were going for sexual tension. This week, the producers after the interview or after the show were like, we were going for sexual tension.
Yes, and I loved that moment when she took him into the cave, because first of all, it was like, he was like, look at this. White Walkers are real. These are the dwellings of the first men in the forest of children of the forest.
And she believed him. I love that. We talked about a few weeks ago with the Stranger Things preview, how like in horror movies and stuff, when the kids say to adults, this thing's happening, they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm glad we're not dealing with like 4 more episodes of that, and like the season finale, she's like, you were right all along.
Yeah, and I think that he had like a way to prove to her with these like paintings in the cave, that also kind of heightened the sexual tension, because she was like, this guy might know what he's talking about, and he's really sexy.
Maybe you're not just a dirty barbarian.
Yes, or maybe you could be my dirty barbarian. Okay.
There it is. All right, my number 2 was, I like sort of this episode, a lot of the emotional payoffs really resonated with me. I really dug Littlefinger giving Bran the knife, another Bran scene, but I didn't remember this, but when Littlefinger says that this knife essentially started everything that has happened, this entire run of the show, like the threat on your life is what started the War of the Five Kings, and the betrayal of Joffrey and cutting off of Ned Stark, like all that stuff. This all started with this little boy trying to be killed by this knife. Now, we know, no one else knew, but we know that Littlefinger was the person hired to kill Bran, but unbeknownst to Littlefinger, Bran knows that too. So it's such a sweet payoff for him to be like, and again, he's emotionless. I expected him to like rage on and be like, you mother, but he doesn't have emotions really anymore. So he just takes this knife and he like plays it cool. Like he's like, I know you tried to have me murdered, but I don't need to say it right now.
So crazy. Sorry. I'm glad that that's all.
I might just cut it there. I might just cut it there. That might be perfect. Like after my rant, just so crazy.
All right, so my number 1 favorite moment from the latest episode of Game of Thrones it was when Arya and Brienne were battling in the courtyard at Winterfell.
How good.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing because I was so excited that Sansa finally got to see, like, overlooking that Arya is basically, she's an assassin.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting to me. And whenever Brienne did that kick, She just went in there like, whoop,
because it was
right
cool.
in her chest.
Like at first you didn't know, like is Brienne just messing with her, or is like
Yeah.
has Arya gotten that good, or is
I
her
didn't know
fighting
if
ability
Brienne was
magically
like
enhanced?
just taking it easy at first,
Right.
but finally Brienne got kind of annoyed. Like,
She got
was
kinda
like, oh,
pissed.
this little girl thinks she can beat me? Ha!
Just boots her.
Yeah. And
across.
then Arya just like rises from the dead like,
Yeah. So like they were both badass because the
Yeah.
fact that she could take the kick, but I also love how Brienne was like, all right, little girl. At the end of the day,
But then
I beat the hound.
She loses her sword and does some crazy spin around and like brings
Pulls
out the
out-
knife.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh! I loved that moment.
This girl's good.
That was my favorite moment because I really wanted everyone to see this whole time. I'm like, everyone needs to see how much Arya kicks ass.
And much again, like with the horror movies where adults are like, no, I don't believe you. Again, I'm glad we didn't have to wait like 4 or 5 episodes, even next season, before everyone's like, oh, you weren't lying. You're one of the best fighters ever. They're like, after that, they're like, oh, I don't know what you've been doing, but clearly you're good at it. For me, number 1 is going to be the dragon battle. I mean, obviously, I know you had the specific moment where she turns back and like her cockiness comes out. For me, start to finish, just like when you heard the rumbling on the ground,
yeah.
it reminded me of the Battle of the Bastards, where again, you didn't know like the Jon Snow's army was losing, and you just heard like the thunder on the ground. You're like, oh, that's Littlefinger coming to save the day. Same thing with this. It's like Jaime and Bronn and the other houses are starting to like make their plans, bring the gold back, and then you just hear like and then like just that Dothraki horde.
So good.
Coming
you could
over the
see them
mountain.
coming over. Yeah, like you could just see them as little specks over the mountain at first.
Yeah.
It looked insane.
And then just getting closer, like 10,000 Khal Dragos just coming at you. Then, at the last second, as they're forming up, doing their Spartan, Jaime Lannister doing their Spartan shield thing, dragon breath just raining down from the heavens, turning. And I love how they portray dragon breath in this, where it doesn't just burn you, it turns you to ash. Like, it incinerates you to the point where your body just looks like cremation after this thing gets done with you. What else do we have? Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was going to say the exchange between Tyrion
and the Dothraki soldier?
Yes.
Where he's like, your people don't fight well.
Yes, and you could see it in Tyrion's eyes. Like, at that moment, like, he kind of realized he was watching people that he had known, like, his family. Like, I mean, not necessarily people that he, like, very much cared for, but it's still his people.
His people.
Yeah, he's watching them just die on the battlefield for this foreign army that he's now helping.
And it hurts a little bit, especially when he saw his brother. That's the other moment, Jaime's badass moment, where Khaleesi finally lands on the ground. After Bronn shoots the scorpion, Khaleesi lands on the ground. She's trying to take the spear out of, was that Drogon that she was with?
Yes.
Drogon. And Jaime, like Tyrion was like, run you fool. But Jaime, you had an interesting theory about Jaime not turning running, why he would do something as seemingly suicidal as try to stab a dragon queen.
Right.
Tell him what you thought.
I thought that it was kind of like he saw everyone he loved dying. He has nothing to live for. Like, even Cersei, like, he knows that she's a monster at this point. Like, he's just kind of stuck in it. He's looking around like, this is my life. This is all it is.
Found out his son was poisoned a few hours ago.
Exactly. Like, I think it was kind of one of those moments, like, what is the point?
Sure.
So he was like, I'm just, gonna run right into here. Maybe I'll kill her, but I'm gonna die trying, and that's fine.
I think all of that coupled with rage as far as this foreign queen brought these barbarians to kill my kinsmen. So yeah, like you said, I don't care if I die right now. Almost like if I kill her, it'll be worth it. But clearly that didn't happen. And was that Bronn at the end that jumped over and...
Yes.
I thought it was Bronn. I didn't see his face real clearly.
I mean, that's what I took it as.
So did I.
Yeah, and just like seeing the last scene, I had no idea that's how it was going to end. Like,
Me
they
neither.
always rev it up right before, and I have no idea that it's been an hour.
And they're
like,
so good at making you think, even though they're main characters, like there was a point where last night I thought, even though I know that their contracts are renewed to next season, for a second I'm like, is Dany going to get at least injured, stabbed? Is Jaime going to die? Like, they trick you with that.
Yeah, I just thought that last scene was crazy where he was just floating underwater and it was
So
silent.
good. Jesus pose. Well, like, and going back to what you're saying about being reborn again and stuff, that can like tie in. Like anytime a filmmaker usually does like arms out falling away from somebody, they usually have some sort of messianic undertone that they want to get out of it. So we'll see where that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're done. We're out. All right. Folks, that has been Game of Thrones episode 4.
Scooby Foursome.
Scooby Foursome. Join us next week for episode 5. And how many episodes left this season? Is it 6 or 7 total?
There's only 2 more left.
Only 2 more. Wait, it's only 2 more left. 5 and 6? Is it 6 this season? We do this every week.
I really thought it was 6.
We do this every week. We still don't know if it's 5 or 6, but it's one of them. Nevertheless, thanks for checking in with us, guys. Make sure to follow us on the Instagrams, Facebooks, and YouTubes. Make sure to subscribe and like while you're here.
Yes.
Until next time,
Stay
groovy,
groovy,
Scoobies.
Scoobies.